Alright, welcome back to another Play and Explain. On this number, I'm pretty sure this hand through its spear. That doesn't make any sense. Just gonna 3-bet on 97. I think if you roll the upper above 33, all the King X broadways up to King 9. Basically just bluff at 33% at the time. First to button. And we have an easy fold here. So far, I played a couple hands. I had, before I started recording, I had this spot here. I felt like we should have got more money. I checked back turn, but if I had bet, he would have jammed. I just didn't. I don't know if I guess we don't check any straights here. I'm just trying to think. Like, checking on the turn seems so weird. But anyway, he bet river half pot and we raised him and got a call, but we didn't shove. If the river was a different card, we would have shoved. Obviously, it just had to. He had a royal draw, unfortunately, so it couldn't fit that. I wonder if my hand ever checks turn. I think you want spades to check turn more, but ace ten of spades is probably mostly raising flop. Maybe not. It's obviously raising it more than diamonds. I think I have the right read there. I don't see the point in really raising diamonds, especially when you have a royal draw. It's like the pair outs aren't even as bad. Like if he has kings or king jack or something. One of his outs gives me a royal. I think 4-6 is pure here from the spot. With this guy, I'll probably just call a 3-bet because he looks kind of spewy, but yeah. So this is Play and Explain, I believe, number 12. Did a bit of studying today, woke up really late. Gonna try and keep this quick so I can watch the fourth quarter of the Miami Heat game. I just saw, and there was 2 tables running for 500 on stars. I'm gonna try to get my hands in because I have like the best leaderboard ever right now. I've gotten like aces like twice or 3 times and kings and jacks like twice. It's been crazy. I'm at 12 here. We'll open, but if he opens, okay. Finally, after I took a break in Vegas, I'm trying to get this chest, but I have to play enough. But I have time, but it would be nice to get it soon. Almost 2 straights in a row with ace 10. And I think here his flat range is so capped on these types of boards that we can just bet 1/3 and get a lot of folds. And on the turn here, I don't know if we ever overbet, because I think we can still bet our queen X. I'm gonna raise this though. I don't expect him to be doing this unless he has like jack 9, but expect this to mostly be bluffs from this type of player. Oh wow, we hit a straight on the river. Hopefully he doesn't have pocket 9s. Try to think if it's worth reopening the river, and I think versus this fish it clearly is. Easy call. Nice. It's one of those spots where the super aggressive player maybe we could consider. I think this hand, actually I think a pure open, so I could be wrong. I think it's pure open. 8-7 does mix, that number will open it. Don't think queen 3 is ever 3-betting. Definitely not cold 4ing. So yeah, right now we got 2 tables going. I'm currently waitlisting 2 on GG, and I think that's, yeah, that's what we got going on right now. Here on this board, playing a lot of 20%. I think this hand's okay as a check. Obviously a great turn. Gonna be reopening, probably like half pot, maybe 2/3. It's just a better reopen. I still played flushes and stuff like this, so played king X, probably good enough to bet now. The lead on the mono 6 is a little odd. Obviously this hand's just a pure fold. I guess it's okay because it's easy to range bet flop. So he has technically more flushes, I guess, and stuff. And on this river, I'm trying to think the sizing we want to pick. I'm trying to think if overbet's good. I think here a lot of your king, like you build two sizes. I'm trying to think. I'll go with this size. I think that's the size that's like puts the king in the best spot. I think I don't really want to bet too small because I think, I don't know. It's kind of weird because he has a lot of one diamonds that auto muck, so bluffing can be really profitable. It's a weird spot. I'll look at it. Sometimes in these mono boards, I'm kind of just feeling it out. What I think population is going to do most of the time. And there I overbet bluff the river a lot, so I don't mind just overbetting thin for value here. I think he has to call pretty wide. I think my line is also really like hard to put me on a good hand. If that's the right way to say that. This guy was a bit crazy earlier. He flatted queen jack off in a spot. I opened cutoff and he flatted queen jack off in the big. I'm trying to think here if this is a profitable raise. I think no, unfortunately. I think it's just too weak. We have to fold, especially when he says up to half. That might be a mini tell over here that he has something. But yeah, I'm gonna open up the score in the Miami Heat game on my other monitor, so I don't want to miss the fourth quarter of the game. Okay, on this board, I think the 10 hearts is a really bad card because you block a lot of his calling range. So I think if you want to mix checks with Jack X, this would be the hand. I don't know how often you really want to check a jack on this board, especially a decent one like this. And I think we just commit to it when we check. Okay. Here on this board, I think you can do half pot or big bet. I don't mind just simplifying to half pot, so we'll go with the half pot here. Going to be calling. Could consider raising, and then here on the river, we're going to check. Gonna have to shrink my tables now on stars. But for now, let's do it like this. And versus the big bet here, I'm trying to wonder. I don't think there's a point in ever raising. We're just going to call. That's just a cooler. Could have made more probably by playing more aggressively. Here, I think it's just a 1/3 spot for us. I think it puts this pair in a tough spot. Also, I think some of his floats are ace, queen, ace, jack, so I think I might just go 3 streets with this hand. If he has an ace, he has an ace. I'm trying to think if there's merit in squeezing my hand here. There obviously is. I rolled a 2. My hand plays pretty well versus the, I'm gonna go for it. Even on a 2, I'm just gonna squeeze this 8-7. So you kind of want higher cards because getting shoved on's a bit bad, but I just think this spot is really profitable. And we can call a 4-bet with this hand, so. Expect this guy to come along a good amount now, but it should be profitable for us, for him to come along. He's gonna have to overfold on most boards. We are in position. Would suck if he just shoves pocket sixes here. We have to fold. So it's such a sad spot because you know he can't have any. I honestly think I should call. I know it sounds like crazy, but I think I should call here. I don't think he has 9s. I think he almost always has just an under pair. I think I should have called off. I think I'm flipping most of the time there. But I don't know, maybe that's just too punty. I don't know. Should have called off for the video. I think the call makes sense there. I really don't think his range can be anything better. Gonna be 3 Actually, we should roll for the king jack off here. I think you're ace king. We're just not gonna check this. This is like just too good of a hand. So I'm going to check. I'm going to bet it. Obviously, you want to check some nut flushes, and maybe this is actually like one. This is probably one of the best ones. But I think multi-way, I don't mind just betting in this node. Obviously, I need to be balanced. I think if it was a heads-up pot, I'd care more about being balanced. Ace Queen of Clubs might be even a better check. I don't know. I don't mind spinning it. But honestly, I guess we do want to check the nut flushes and blocking the ones we can cooler. I think Ace Queen might block them most. It's also block the Queen X. Frustrated about this all in here. I had a feeling he was going to do something like quote unquote smart like that, which is obviously not a very unsmart play. On a 90 here, I think we open Jack 10 off. Could be wrong. But we're going to go for it. Because it's just like he's so weighted towards like, he never has like pocket, like this guy actually 3-bets, right? So like, he never has like an actual, I don't think he has 10s there or something. Obviously if he has 10s it's a disaster if I call, right? What's the score in the Miami Heat game? Well, the third quarter is about to be over. How long have I been recording for? 10 minutes. Alright. Probably record like 19 more minutes. Upload a 30-minute video. I guess interesting stuff happens, which I guess it kind of has. Oh, maybe I should just call this 8-7 for the video. I really regret it. Because how much equity do I need in the spot? Is this hand ever a cold four? I think your ace-3 is actually like cold foring. But he's 3-betting ace-3 pure in this node. Oh, he rolled an 82 though. This could just be a pure mistake, so maybe I just go in the folds. I'm gonna have to review this. Sometimes I think, because I think he's 3-betting ace-3 pure in this node. I think if it was like here, when they don't have ace-3, because sometimes there's some spots in poker where they're 3-betting ace-5, but they're never, pain, man. If he tables aces or kings, I'm not gonna care. Or maybe, what's it called? Ace king would be the most annoying one, or like kings, because he's supposed to call aces here. In practice, is he doing that? I don't know. Especially if the clubs break out, actually. I'm not gonna be too result based. I don't think my hand is a 3-bet. This guy looked like he hit something. Huh. Pocket 9s versus king 10 suited. Wow. So this guy just flops the straight. The other guy has the set. That's absurd. And the sick part is if I cold fold, imagine eyes in this hand at the flush draw too. That would have been a crazy hand. If I called 4 here, I think they both fold. King 10 might call actually, and I would have lost it all. It's a good thing I didn't. Let's see who's going off in this basketball game right now. Caleb Martin, of course. And then Tatum is 12. Yikes. How much does Jimmy have? 19. Man, Caleb Martin should win Series MVP. Don Greenway is currently sitting heads up. I am going to be studying more heads up recently so I can get a good amount of action for it. And a lot of the games are just sometimes dead. And a way to get more hands in. I think you're multi-way. I don't mind calling the 4 deuce. I think it's mostly calling. It also performs pretty okay multi-way. Your cards aren't really dominated. I don't know how often my opponents see winning this board with the worst hand, but I wonder if he does like bluff this hand. I don't think so. I think we still want equity. I think blocking deuces now is kind of pointless because he never has it, so it's not like, oh, we kind of want them to have the 4 spades. Like any hand with the 4 spades here is pure folding basically in both players' ranges. So. Granted, that's not too much of his folding range, but it's a decent amount of this guy's folding range. So I don't know if 5-4 is pure folding, but it's still a hand we want him to have. actually ahead of it too, so there's no point of betting to fold out 5-4, technically. Here we get flatted by this guy. I'm worried green light comes along. I wonder if we call. Probably not. This hand performs so bad versus squeeze. It's kind of annoying, but I don't think it is a squeeze. One of the hands that call a squeeze. He just calls. Alright, here we're gonna check range on this board, even multi-way. Especially with the weaker jack is more likely to want to bet, because like doesn't block as many overs. And also like when a 9 comes on the turn, there's still a jack, so we don't get to cooler with the 2 pairs much. And also mostly checking this board though, that's the thing. Also when we have the spade, this might actually be one of the few hands multi-way we can bet. Versus this guy, I think he might be overstabbing. I do think he has a good amount of 6s and 4s, but we can... Okay, that makes me actually feel a good amount better. Shouldn't have called as fast. But I think on the river we just check. I don't think this guy has a hand too often. So he could have rivered an 8, but we're gonna check. Oh my god, he trapped. I would have called him 3 streets too. That's the crazy part. You got cute. Wow, big bet on the flop with ace-4 here. Turns the 4. That's crazy. We lost the stone minimum there. If we had bet flop, I think we would have lost more. Versus this type of player. Especially since I think he's 3-betting most of his 4x hands. Since he's 3-betting so much, usually these players 3-bet all their connectors in there. But he actually doesn't have that high of a 3-bet. It's a very low sample actually, I shouldn't even look at it. Sometimes I just don't pay enough attention to this. I want to see a huge number here, but... See, this video will be shorter. But I'll probably post 2 today. I know I said that yesterday and I didn't, but... On a 66, this is not a high enough number. Oops. I keep doing that. The GG table I'm keeping small. I'll like enlarge it if I'm in a hand. I don't know. I don't feel like changing my overlay. So I'm going to be playing for 12 more minutes. Also, I like the way the stars tables look when they're bigger. I need to get probably Dorogen again for my overlay. I've been trying to think here if we ever want to call. Just keep the recreational in. So it's also a big recreational. I think we're just going to 4-bet this hand though. Go to 13. I'm in 3-bet this hand over the ISO. Obviously we lose the EV of keeping this guy in, but I don't think this guy usually has an ace or a king. I think that he's like raising those hands. That's like a general recreational tendency. And a lot of fish will call too wide here. My hand performs really well versus those hands. He's calling like ace jack offsuit and shit like this. King jack offsuit. King queen offsuit. All his suited ace x. This hand I think never 3-bets, but I think at this depth with the fish behind me. I wonder if 3-bets at this depth on an 89. Does it ever 3-bet? Because I don't know. I don't think it pure folds, so I will call it actually. Here I think with the ace being a non-club, we can actually turn this into one of our more aggressive raises. I think this combo is like actually going to be like our... What's what? Is this 9.5 here? 9.6 for 100% raise. I'm going to go for it. Here I flatten in the big, because the fish in the... flatten in the small because of the fish in the big blind. We missed the club. I might be tripling this one off here. I think this spot, my read is just with small blind flat that deep. Unless he has exactly pocket aces or he rivers 2-pair or something, he's going to be folding. So it's just like such an easy spot to make a lot of money. And when you block a7 and pocket sevens. Wow. Okay, so I have a boat here. I'm trying to think if this hand wants to block river, and I think I'm unblocking the queen x. It's a pretty good hand to just bet normally. I don't see the point in blocking river, because he's going to have a lot of hands like this. Wouldn't it be sweet if he turned this hand into like a bluff? It's too good to bluff though. We actually 2-outed him on the river, which is kind of funny. Could have gone for check raise all in, but I don't think he has enough hands I can call here. It's basically the best hand we can have in that spot. Okay, here's like 1/3 or check. I think it's mostly just 1/3. Could be wrong actually. You could play a size up strat on that board for his cutoff. And the reason I like the 8-7 here, especially the version with the clubs, is obviously he's not gonna really have any clubs now on any run out. So when we do at our flush, we have this down nuts because the ace is a club, so he can't really call anything. He's like no 3x a club combo. He's not gonna float king queen a club, so we basically fold out every single club, which is nice. Whereas if we just check call and he gets the range bet like all of his like random club hands and keep them in there, we can get cooler on a lot more runouts. So it's a good hand. And then even though we miss the flush, I think we still have to commit with this hand once you raise it. So yeah. We're not also flatting it pure pre-flop. So here I'm trying to think. I think here with our shitty ace, you want to mostly bet on the turn. I think we have a lot of 6x checks back this flop. Like a lot of our check back range on the flop is going to be 6x. I could be wrong. We don't have that much 6x in our range altogether, but in the delayed line. King 3 is just never opening here. Wow, it looks like Miami is going to win. That's crazy. Here with no spade, I think you want to bet less. We're going to check and evaluate. I think mostly calling one bet though, especially with the backdoor straights. And I think we want some 5x we check, and this hand still beats a good amount of stuff, so I think it's an okay check call. Could be wrong here. But we're going to be betting most of our 5x in the turn, so we want some 5x in our checking range. Alright, and here on the river, I think we just have another check. I wonder if we have a check raise. It's hard to really rep anything. I don't think we have a check call. Probably just sadly have to just like check this down and muck it. It feels kind of bad. We turn the boat here. I think here in this node we can just overbet. I think we want to play a hand that like 7x reps. So what? 150 here. 2.3. Yeah, around 7. I feel like they're gonna be mostly folding here, but it's okay. I don't think you ever really want to check pocket 5s here. I think like Jack 7 can keep checking. Jack 7 suited. There's only one combo of that. You never really have pocket jacks. Obviously you have quad 7s. You have one combo of 7-5 suited. But here you might have some check back 7x that you can be. I think pocket 5s is actually okay with check back. It actually might be. Could be wrong here. Now that I think about it, you don't have enough traps, so you should be mixing. Then again, I don't mind playing my hand linearly. I think sometimes when you play your hand really linearly, it throws people off. Like, oh, why would he, I checked back flop, like, why would you just start randomly overbetting his pocket pair? And then you just have it. Huh. How long have I been recording? 24 minutes. Okay, I record like 6 more minutes. This video, since it is shorter, I'll review all the hands in the comments. There's a lot of hands I misplayed in my last video that I was like that I looked at. And I was kind of embarrassed, to be honest, a little, because of how actually poorly played I played a lot of the hands, especially when you're talking about a hand and you have it wrong. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been putting in the same effort to comment all of the things. If people start to like, if people let me know and they like it, then of course I'll do it. But if it just like feels like no one's looking at it, like I don't really feel the urge to comment. Queen 9 here. Wow. Ace 6. How's my leaderboard run looking? Because it was looking... Wow, I was looking so good and then I've just been breaking. I thought I was going to have the best leaderboard run ever. Because I started off with like in my first 20 hands, aces, kings, ace king suited, and jacks. Like I had aces twice, kings twice, jacks twice or something in like 20 hands. I was like, oh my god. We're still okay. What is the cash here? Like what do I need to make the $100 or at least cash them in? Because on the 500 I know it's lower. Okay, so to make any money, we need 4,063. That's doable. I think here at the lower hearts, you want to be betting more often, but it's actually, I thought it was for some reason versus big blind. I forgot this guy like flats in the spot. Deeper here, I'm just going to build the pot, especially since I read this guy's kind of bad. So I'm just going to just bet big. This is never a thing on this board, but this is also never a thing calling here. So I mean, maybe 200 big deep it actually becomes a thing. It actually probably does, but also it's like you don't mind being in position in a 3-bet pot deeper too. So it's I don't really recommend it. Building on an entire strategy versus cutoff open. Obviously versus something open for sure, but cutoff it's just I don't know. If anything, people are still opening too wide from the cutoff, and you can punish them by 3-betting them in position more aggressively. I'm people, by the way. I think I don't adapt my ranges enough to my opponent being 200 bigs deep in the button. But yeah. Got a hand here. It's been recording for 27. And here we're just pure calling. Kind of unfortunate. This guy might be a little too tight. But I'm going to look at a hand I played versus him with the aces. Did he... Okay, I don't know. Sometimes it's good to try and get info. Huh, I think we're just pure mucking this board now. Especially since my read is he's a little tighter. This hand might be a pure call though. I'm trying to think. I just can't see it. Like with the clubs. Oof. Probably folding turn a good amount though. Obviously if he checks turn, I'm almost never losing with my hand. I don't know. I think this hand is a pure call, but I think people are generally a little too tight for betting in the spot. But he did size down. I don't think he's supposed to be playing too small of a bet here. And then I think I'm supposed to be forced to calling this hand. But in general, my read on that player was he's a little tighter pre. I'm gonna call, but I don't mind overfolding flop slightly. I'm gonna check again here. And here I think we can also call. I think when our opponent's like very deep in this spot, I don't mind calling the guy in the big because he's gonna make mistakes. On the river here, I'm just gonna have to fold unfortunately a lot. I think my range is way more uncapped, so I could just go huge here. How does he not bluff? He must have just had a pair. I like betting this end. We blocked the bluffs with the queen. I guess, yeah, checking nines there is not the end of the world. Because I could have some ace-6 on the river and he's just over-bluffing. Here versus the recreational, I think I'm just going to big bet 3 streets with the pink kings here. Not going to overbet because it's a bit scary. On the river, I'm just going to go half pot here. Obviously, if he raises, I think I'm going to fold. Wouldn't be surprised if I'm beat here. Queen 5, yeah, I'm beat. Unfortunate river. Just think, obviously, like, he's calling at an insane pace. Like, he's calling a 5 here twice, like, snap calling, so. Obviously, the type of player you're going to go thin for value. Sucks when the queen 5 suited beats the kings, but not much you can do. Here, let's play a lot of overbetter check, and I think this hand actually is okay on a 28, though. I guess we check. it's like too good and it has not enough equity. Like it has a lot of showdown, but it doesn't have that much equity. I meant like nut equity. Just gonna check it again. Expect to be good here a lot. Trying to think. I think the nine of clubs is okay, and the eights, because I think the nine of clubs likes to bet turn a lot. I'm gonna call him here. Okay, just rivers the straight. The reason why is I think his nine of clubs, this type of player, is gonna be bluffing turn a lot, so I don't think it's in his river bluffing range too much. And then obviously I don't think he's ever bluffing with an ace, and it blocks value, like the type of hand we just saw him have. So I don't mind the call. Plus this guy is pretty aggressive. It's never really bad to call spots like that, because your opponents get like very reluctant to bluff you. And even if that means like, oh, and then I have to start overfolding later, that's not really true. When he favors opponents that bluff you a lot, what's it called? When you play versus opponents who stop bluffing you, it's actually just like really easy to play. Even in spots where, even if you called like standard, I'll review to see what the solver is doing there, but even if you play kind of standard, lost my train of thought. Just you'll just get rewarded by naturally they're not taking profitable bluffs because they're scared. So how much did we lose here? Yeah, we lost a lot. So we were up a lot in the session, and now we've slowly lost a decent amount. I think here we're mostly calling, and sometimes getting it in. Alright, on this number I think we 4-bet get it in. Don't think this hand folds to a jam ever. Unfortunate first run. Oh, that sucks. Well, that has not been a good final 5 minutes of the session. Not been running too good. Jesus Christ. I think every single card has been on the river. My opponents have beat me. So. Pretty frustrating. We have to roll the 90 there too. God, so lame. I don't think queens is ever folding here when you 4-bet it. I think opponent is not really supposed to shove aces, so if you think he's shoving aces, then maybe these hands can start to become better folds. $42. The double suit blocker. I think the queen with the 42 actually wants to bet more. We're not deep now, unfortunately. I'm gonna bet this hand. I think big bet makes more sense actually. I shouldn't have bet half pot. The 5 is a really bad card for us. Obviously we're not really betting too much 5x, so I guess I'll check my hand. I don't really expect to get the bluff equity from this guy though. So. Hopefully we can hit a good queen. Yeah, maybe we could lead river for like 10%. Don't think king 9 suited is 4-betting from these positions, so we're just gonna be folding it. Yeah, I think my opponent is weighted mainly towards 10x. So I think, honestly, we could have just bet 3 streets there. Alright, I'm gonna watch the end of this game even though the Celtics are down 20. Maybe there's no point in watching, but I don't know, I'm gonna turn it on. So, finish these couple of hands and call it. I don't think queen 8 is ever... I'm trying to think if I remember ace jack off ever 3-betting there. I think it does actually, as a bluff. Obviously gonna be calling the 1/3 here. I don't think we play any raises with this hand. Trying to think if we fold turn or not. I think we block a good amount of value. We also block bluffs, but the ace also blocks value. So. And he checks. I think on the river we have a good hand to block bet, because he can call a lot of worse jack x and 8x and stuff. Maybe it's a better bluff catcher. Maybe it's a better bluff catcher. I think a lot of his check back range. Actually, a lot of check back range that doesn't bluff the river, I think has an ace. So maybe it's better to check this type of hand. I'll be looking at it. God, it's so lame. Just to like run kind of shitty. We're not down that much today though, we were up, but just did not catch some good cards in a 5 minute span. I think this hand is just mostly pure calling. The 4 bits it calls off, but we're just gonna call here. Okay, we flop like a very strong hand for our range. He's supposed to check range here, and I think we're just supposed to bet like 20% with our range. So we're gonna do that. I don't expect to get check rate. I mean, yeah, you can check raise the bluff here. But usually they have a shit ton of equity. I'm still gonna have to call off with my hand though. I have like basically usually 10 outs, unless he has like pocket 10s. I think here we mainly just want to call. I don't think we want to raise these types of hands. So we are going to call. A 5 has made a straight, so he checks. I think this hand just wants to check back now. There's no point of turning this into a bluff, so. And it breaks out. When he checks, I think we check again now. I don't think we can get value from anything. I expect to almost never be good here, but I think our hand's too strong to bluff. Yeah. Just unfortunate. This guy is just running super good versus me. I don't think there's anything else we do in this hand. Especially double blocking, like he's not folding anything better on the river. I mean, maybe he is, but it's just too good. Yeah, obviously he's not like pure calling everything, but I don't know. I don't think he's like pure folding anything better on the river, is what I was trying to say. Alright, anyway. With that being said, I'm going to end the video now, and I'll probably be commenting about the hands. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching.